Who wants digital human resource management? The example of Luxembourg. My name is Dr. Ursula Schinzel. I would like to present you one of my researches. You also can have a look at my weblog ursulaschinzel.com. The research question is, who wants digital HRM? Or do we really want digital human resource management? My research methodology is first a review of the literature, second participant observation, third interviews, and fourth questionnaires, always collecting primary. The literature review was about HR. You can see the authors I reviewed. Also in social networking, have a look at the authors here. And about cultural research, Hofstede and around. Now, Gerd Hofstede is known by everybody, I suppose. So he is born in the Netherlands in 1928. He did an IBM HRM research in the 1960s, collecting 116,000 questionnaires. He identified 4 cultural dimensions: individualism, collectivism, uncertainty avoidance, power distance, masculinity, femininity, and later added long-term orientation, indulgence versus restraint, monumentalism. At that time, he dared to contradict Maslow, Herzberg, and McClelland, and he brought cultural research from the US to Europe. Let's have a look at Luxembourg. It is a small country in the middle of Europe, and you can also see the our biggest ship, Mary Astrid, compared to the Queen Mary II. Luxembourg is a unitary parliamentary democracy and constitutional monarchy with the Grand Duke Henry and the Prime Minister Xavier Bettel. Formerly it was Jean-Claude Juncker. There are 3 official languages: Luxembourgish, French and German. The capital has 100,000 inhabitants, and the population total of Luxembourg, the Grand Duchy, is 546,000. The motto is "Wir willen blijven wat wir zijn." That means we want to remain what we are. There are 56% Luxembourgers and 43% foreigners living in Luxembourg. During the daytime, that ratio changes because there are a lot of cross-border workings coming to work in Luxembourg from France, from Belgium and from Germany. Out of the working population, there are 39% cross-borderers. The Luxembourg Hofstede's cultural dimensions on Luxembourg are as follows. Power distance in Luxembourg nationals is 29. Uncertainty avoidance is very high with 95 compared to Hofstede's estimates. And individualism is low, 34, compared to Hofstede's estimate 60. So collectivism is very high. Masculinity is medium, 54. Long-term orientation, 65. And indulgence versus restraint, 55, and monumentalism, 24. Hofstede doesn't hold any estimates for that. And in Luxembourg, with all the foreigners comprehending, it's 10. Let's have a look at human resource management. The history of HRM. 20 years ago or more, it was about HR administration, salary, vacation, absence, work hours, headcount and accounting. Then came a phase of motivation, recruiting, staffing, training, evaluation, recognition, and more recently it's about EHRM, communication, international HRM, globalized world, network. Social networking technologies are internet, the Google, the LinkedIn, Twitter, and so on, Facebook. And as says Clay Shirky, it's about 3 phases. We went through GIN, TV, and social surplus. Languages used as identifier in the Grand Duchy. Because of World War I and II, it assured the national identity, and it became the discriminating factor for identification and gives access to advantages and gives importance to the people. One hypothesis: HR specialists in Luxembourg are reluctant to utilize new social networking technologies due to their specific cultural identity. HR practices remain therefore largely unchanged. What means is your company using in recruitment was asked and answered as follows: advertisement in newspapers, mainly spontaneous application, and in Monster. Now, which digital social networks does your company use? It was mainly LinkedIn, the professional network, and Facebook. During the recruitment process, how does your company gather information about a candidate? Was mainly asked over the CV and the interview with the candidate. Digital social networks played a less important role. After the recruitment process, how does your company gather information about a candidate? Was answered discussion with the employee and the annual performance interview. Digital social networks also played a less important role. Which internet pages are accessible in your company? For example, is Facebook accessible? It is more half-half. Some have restricted access and some unlimited access. How is networking mainly done in Luxembourg? Was answered as follows: via private contacts, and also in meetings, events, seminars, or clubs and associations. Digital social networks played a less important role. What are the advantages of social networking technologies? Yeah, it is to find and share a lot of information, to find other CVs and so on, and it's easy and quick accessible and transparent, and you can keep in touch. The disadvantages of social networking technologies were seen as follows: it's a lack of reliability, there are a lot of lies, untrue data, lack of trust, not accurate information, incompetent people, and no fair judgment of the potential candidate. There's a lack of confidentiality, indiscretion, mistrust, and the possibility of abuse. It's not secure, there's stalking and hacking, cloning of information, especially for young people. There's a limited data protection and lack of privacy. And you will say, wow, this is time consuming. First we used it because we thought it was saving time, now it's consuming our times. Discussion. At the end, we discussed that HR managers are made aware of the dangers of digital social networking technologies, and that traditional ways of HR management regain their importance. For example, paper applications, the interview in person, and always in person, the annual performance interview, the discussion with the employee in person, the talent management, references, interviews in person, and also via telephone, advertisement in newspapers, and participation in fairs. And the question is, were HR managers too fast in adopting digital social technologies? Future research could focus on confidentiality, data security, protection of private life, rising digital criminality. I thank you very much for your attention, and you can have a look at my web blog. Thank you so much.